Another Premier League week in the books, another Premier League rundown for you guys. Starting off with the 12:30 kickoff on the weekend, Manchester United versus Everton, 2-0 Manchester United. Pretty easy win for Man United in the end. I mean, in the first half, absolutely blew them away. Absolutely blew them away. But didn't get the finishing. It's been a struggle all season, kind of with finishing, with players apart from Rashford, and that first half was a showcase, isn't it? Many chances. Anthony had a couple of chances to score. Rash had a couple of chances to score himself. Wan-Bissaka missed a good chance. A bit had a few chances, but it was McTominay who opened the scoring. Just an easy performance by United. It was a weird game plan by Everton. You expect Everton to go to anywhere away from home, and especially against the bigger teams, and sit back and just soak up pressure and kind of hope and hit on the counter. But they came away, played a really high line, amazingly high line. United every single time just exposed it. It was Michael Keane and Tarkovsky at the back, and they were getting exposed by Rashford multiple times. Anthony exposed Ben Godfrey many times. It was a very, very strange game plan because they played the high line, but they never really pressed that high with the strikers either. There wasn't much intensity with that, so it was kind of just easy for United to play through. Bruno Fernandes completely dictated the play. 88 out of 102 passes, 6 chances created, 2 big chances, 8 out of 14 long balls, and they were all, crossfield balls to Anthony, basically. And yeah, very easy win for Man United. Everton, yeah, had a few threats in the first half, that Sims chance. But other than that, they were kind of just reduced to long shots, really. And yeah, no win in the 5 away games for Everton, so kind of a theme for them away from home under Dyche, but 3 losses, 2 draws, 4 goals scored, 12 against, but they were against Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, and Nottingham Forest as well. So kind of expect that. They've still got 4 away games this season, and their home games are against 2 of them are against Newcastle United and Manchester City. So kind of need to improve this away form if they want to stay in the Premier League. They're only I think they're still level on points with the relegation zone. So even though they've got Dyche in, they're still in that. And they've done a few good results recently. They're still in that zone of relegation. A bit of a weird thing to say, but Man United, good win for them. Back in top 4. Back-to-back clean sheets as well. Kind of a good performance. Just a good performance, easy performance. What you should do against a team like Everton at home. Next game, Spurs 2, Brighton 1. Probably the worst refereeing performance I've ever seen. One of them. You can talk for hours about that refereeing performance. We'll go through a few of them. The Longley handball where it was after a corner and I don't know who it was running along, but then Longley just handballs it away. You go, that's probably a penalty. If the referee gives that, they're not turning it over. Mitoma handball, I'm fine with this one. If the referee didn't give it, if the linesman, I think it's the linesman who gave it in the end. But if the linesman didn't give it and they've disallowed it, I'd be like, well, there's no evidence to that. But the fact he disallowed it, there's no evidence on the contrary, so I'm fine with that one. McAllister handball to rule out that goal from the shot from Welbeck. Well, first of all, it probably didn't even hit his hand, and second of all, no one cared. Like, you're just ruling out a goal for no reason. If it hits his hand, it's his hand. He did everything he could to go away from it. He turned his back. He put his arms to his sides. Like, there's no reason to rule out that goal, and it's a terrible rule. The Mitoma foul from Højbjerg stamped him. The PGMOL released a statement to, I think it's to Brighton themselves, to saying we messed up. I'm like, how can you just ignore? Everyone saw that straight away. The most clear-cut penalty, you stamped on the player. Terrible, terrible. And then Longley holding Dunk when he's running into the box, that's a penalty as well. Like, since we know you're just allowed to stop a player running by holding on to him, shambolic refereeing, and Brighton absolutely robbed this game. Spurs they weren't terrible. Brighton could have done a lot more, especially in the second half. Brighton weren't that great. Spurs were carried by their best players, Son and Kane, which they have been done for the whole season, just bailed out by Kane out over and over and over again. Brighton, controlled the game in midfield. Caicedo, McAllister, Gross, just much better ball players than the Skip and Højbjerg. But yeah, they never really created many clear-cut chances in the second half. But obviously, the goals they scored, with a Welbeck chance, they did, but they got disallowed. They should have got the penalties, which is obviously something. But yeah, they never really did anything in the second half to blow Spurs away that Brighton kind of has shown against other teams. So Spurs did well in that sense, but still not a great performance from Spurs at home to Brighton. Away, fine, but at home you got to be doing a bit more if you're Spurs, and they didn't do anything themselves. They limited Brighton, but again didn't do anything. But they got the win, all about the win. Big win in the top four race. I don't think Spurs are really going to be able to get there now, but yeah. And a good thing for now for Spurs is that Brighton, with their games in hand, can't overtake them now. So that was massive for them because they were still, but Spurs have still played more than most people. So and Brighton played less, and there's always that thing if Brighton overtake them, it could be down to 6-7. But big win for Spurs in that sense. But yeah, Brighton robbed. That's all we've got to say about the game, really. Next one, Wolves Chelsea. I don't know how they've done this, but Chelsea worse than when they owned Potter. I know how they've done this. They put Frank Lampard in charge. What a terrible decision. If I didn't make a video about this, but if you're gonna bring Lampard in, just stick with Potter to the end of the season. You've invested so much money in him. Just stick with him to the rest of the season and see what he could do. We all know Lampard's worse than Potter. So what you're doing, it made no sense. Absolute no sense. You know, they played decently well against Liverpool. They weren't amazing. They missed their chances. They probably should have won the game. Really limited Liverpool themselves, but yeah, not great. And this performance was bad against a Wolves side that was not good. And Lampard playing the four at the back, like why? This team suits a three at the back. Potter was getting results when he switched to three at the back. The midfield suits a three at the back. You've got no defensive midfielder in there. The fullbacks, they're attacking fullbacks. They suit a three at the back. It makes no sense. Then he switched to four, and there was just nothing for them in the game. They didn't create anything in the first half. Wolves were controlling the game. An amazing finish by Matheus Nunes. Goal of the season, really, I think. Really, really, really good goal. But yeah, and then Wolves, just sat back in the second half. Didn't sit all the way back. Didn't, put 10 men behind the ball in the penalty box, but just kind of controlled Chelsea. Chelsea had the possession, but Wolves kind of controlled the game because Chelsea couldn't really create anything. But yeah, bad performance, and it's easy to blame Lampard, and I don't blame Lampard because he shouldn't be there, and the players kind of got to step up as well. Like the players have been bad, just still bad, isn't it? It's just aspiring. Now they face Real Madrid. They lost to Villarreal the weekend, but I expect them to take their anger out on Chelsea now. But 3 games without a goal for Chelsea, just stuck in mid-table. They're just really bad. I just didn't understand sacking Potter if you had no replacement ready. If you're going to get Nagelsmann straight away or Enrique straight away, understandable. But the fact is, you've gone for the Lampard for the rest of the season. No sense. But Wolves, very good win for a big win for them. 4 points above the relegation zone now. Nice little gap for them to afford a loss. The problem is for them, they played 5 top half teams in the last 8 games. That's a struggle. But they've got the players to do it. In these games, they just don't look great, and they didn't look great against Chelsea. Chelsea were just equally as bad, which is an indictment on Chelsea, but just don't look good, do they, really? But yeah, at least they got the win for them. Brentford, Newcastle, great start by Brentford. Really caused Newcastle a lot of problems set pieces wise. Really, really good. Newcastle only had 2 shots on goal in the first half. Really good for Brentford. They got that goal disallowed, the Ivan Toney one, and got a penalty. Missed by Overtoney, got another penalty, scored that time. Yeah, they're really in control in the first half. Newcastle had nothing for them, but great changes by Eddie Howe. Really good change, bringing on Gordon and Wilson for Murphy and Longstaff. Put Wilson Isaac up top. Brentford couldn't deal with the 2 up top, and yeah, Newcastle straight away got back in the game. Joe Linton / Raya own goal. Easy. It was kind of easy from Joe Linton just walks in past the Brentford defenders, and then great finish by Isaac for that second goal to put them in the lead. And then after that, Brentford, Newcastle sat back, but Brentford really didn't do much with it. But yeah, big win for Newcastle, put them back a third, really good form, 5th straight win. Especially after the World Cup with the Carabao Cup, they kind of went back out of form, kind of got a bit stale, couldn't really score, conceded quite a few more, but back in form, really, really good. Brentford back-to-back losses for the first time in the season, which is you know, not a bad thing. They've been really good this season, but losses to Man United and Newcastle back to back now kind of just puts them out of spots for European places. If they won both these games, they'd be right up there. But these losses kind of shows where the level they are. They're good, but not that good yet. They haven't got the players to do that yet. But it's a performance they should have won. They should have won or at least got a draw from this. They weren't. But the second half performance, they were just quite bad compared to Newcastle. They came out really slow. Newcastle, two up top, going a bit more direct than they did in the first half, and they couldn't handle it. Going from European battles to relegation battles, Leicester, Bournemouth. Leicester are bad, aren't they? They're bad. And like I said with Chelsea, don't sack a manager unless you got a replacement. I don't even know who was in charge for Leicester yesterday, but don't sack a manager unless you have a replacement. And if your replacement is Jesse Marsh, just don't sack the manager. Jesse Marsh, he was so bad for Leeds. Really bad. I don't understand. They were so bad yesterday. They couldn't attack. They couldn't defend against Bournemouth at home. Really bad. They played Ricardo Pereira at right wing. Yeah, James Maddison making a mistake for the goal yesterday. Really bad. They've been so reliant on this season, and now he's gone off the ball a bit, and they've been even worse. Yeah, but Philip Billing, excellent play. He's been so good this season, especially as of late in this new free roaming striker, attacking midfielder role. Been really, really good. He's been one of the players of the season in the Premier League, let alone just for Bournemouth, and he's really carried him. 3 goals in his last 6 or 7 games. Really good, and Bournemouth look really good as well. They don't quite sit back, but they're kind of like a mid-block pounce on you. They're not, Nottingham Forest. They pounce on you. They break really fast, and they've looked really good recently. 4 wins in the last 8 games, especially after the form after the international break or after the World Cup. But you think this team is going down, and they're not going to be able to do anything. But they've really picked up form recently. They look really good. And in them 8 games, they faced 6 teams in the top 10. And they won their 2 games against the relegation teams, Wolves and Leicester. So, really, really good for them. They're 3 points above the relegation zone. And I think a loss and another win from another team, I think Nottingham Forest will put them back in because of goal difference. But they've got 5 games left versus the relegation teams in the last 8 games. So, they have themselves to work for it. They don't have to rely on other teams. If they win a few of them games, they put themselves up. But yeah, they've looked really good recently. Leicester, terrible. Turgid. 8 games without a win for them now in the Premier League. 7 losses, 1 draw. 16 Premier League games without a clean sheet. 16. It's almost half a season without a clean sheet. Leicester. Jesse Marsh, whoever comes in, I don't know why it's Jesse Marsh, but they've got to just settle on a team. There's so much chopping and changing in midfield and attack and defence. Got to settle on the team. I know there's injuries and stuff like that, but settle on the team. Come on. But yeah, they were so bad yesterday, and still in relegation zone. They look like they're going to go down with the form. It's just spiralling, isn't it, for them? Another team looking to go down, probably Nottingham Forest. They lost 2-0 to Aston Villa. Quite easy for Villa, really. Just kept possession, kept patient, and the opening came, and John Deshil just gave it to Traore to score. I think that was that goal. I don't know. I think it's that goal, yeah. Yeah, Forest again, just passive, no aggression in them, no real bite on the counter, not really good in possession, just no cohesion defensively. It's not very good performances at all recently, and that's just looking really bad. And I think they're, along with already Southampton and Leicester, I think give them favourites to go down, which is insane after all the money and players have got in. But yeah, Villa, incredible. They've been incredible recently. Up to 6 wins and drawing the last 7 games, 13 goals scored, 2 goals against. I've always said this, since Henry come in, still scored in every single game, and you thought they're scoring goals. If they patch up some of their defensive work, because they look quite bad at times, patch some of that up, they look really good. And going from conceding where 2 clean sheets, there we go. 2 clean sheets, 2 clean sheets in 12 games compared to 5 in the last 7, and they've kept up their scoring goals as well. So that's always going to help, really. Wally Watkins, amazing again. 7 of their last 8 games are against teams in the top 10, so I don't know how long this might last. But yeah, Forest, they're back in the relegation zone, 9 games without a win, 19 goals against, 7 goals for. Coincides with John Joe Shelby. Don't know why they signed him. He's terrible. Did you know in 345 minutes of football he has played for them, which is about 4 games, 2 tackles. 2. 2 tackles. He's terrible. The way that the conceding chances, conceded 1.4 xG plus in 8 of these 9 games without a win, lost xG in 8 of those games. You're just not. It's not sustainable form. You're giving up so many chances. You're not creating any. You're never gonna do it. And like Villa, 5 of the last games are against teams in the top 10, and then another one is Chelsea. Not looking good. Looking good now for West Ham though. It was a terrible game of football from both sides. Terrible. Own goal wins it. Harrison Reed, the bone cross, just poked it in his own net. And that's all West Ham had to do. They had a few chances later on in the game, but other than that, nobody created anything. Fulham had all the possession, 77%, but couldn't do anything with it. West Ham just sat there and be like, do something. Fulham really missing that Mitrovic threat and Williams' creativity. And probably Marco Silva as well. But yeah, they had 16 shots, 10 outside the box. The highest XG shot was 0.09, so you're never going to really win games like that. But yeah, West Ham defend their box well, just allow for them just to pass it around them, really, and they were never really going to break through. But yeah, Fulham's performances are really catching up. They were getting results, but you go, these performances aren't great, but they're getting results, which is a bit insane. But yeah, they're now, what, 4 straight losses, 9 goals against in the games, 3 goals for. Giving West Ham their first away win since August. Not great. Not great. But West Ham now go away to Bournemouth, Crystal Palace and Leicester, so it's probably good they got that, away win. Gives them maybe a bit of hope for their relegation. So I think they got the players to do it. It's just with Europe now as well. Can they win these games against the other relegation candidates? I think they're the wins they need. We have a big win for West Ham. Big win. Southampton, it looks like they're going down. They had a couple good results. They got the Spurs result, the draw at Man United, win at Chelsea, but just not winning enough games. They caused City some problems. They only held them 13 shots, so it's not bad, but every one of them shots were just high quality chances. So, what do you do? What do you do? You held them to 30 shots. They did the best they can, but when you give away 5, 6, 7, 8 good chances, you're going to concede to City like that. Grealish again, fantastic, really good, really caused some problems again. Finally put an end product in. You've watched Grealish many times in City, you go, you caught past them players, you did all the good work, but there was no end product. You never really found a teammate, never really sometimes turned back. But he was always beating defenders and finding space, but never really did anything with it. But now he's starting to do 2 goals and 2 assists in the last 2 games. Really good for him. And with Arsenal dropping points as well. Big win for City, and they've been really, really good recently. Since that Spurs loss, 8 games, 7 wins, 1 draw, 20 goals scored, 6 against. Conceded over 1 XG twice. Really, really good form. Southampton, no wins in 5 matches, 4 points from safety now, so they've got a bit of a gap now. Yeah, really bad for them. I don't expect them to stay up. They've got too many young players and holes in their squad. You can't rely on all these young players to get you out of relegation, but for the Championship, they'll be nicely set up at least. Strange result of this one. Leeds 1, Crystal Palace 5. Bit of a weird one, this, because Leeds came out really, really good. They created many chances. Bamford scoring a very nice header. Johnson had to make 7 saves in the first half. You go, well, Leeds are playing really well and carrying on some decent form they picked up under Gracia. But then conceding just before half time, it is a killer. It is a killer for teams, as we'll talk about in the next game as well. But yeah, but then they came out at half time just terrible. They had 1 shot in the second half. And then they just allow Crystal Palace's creative players on the ball, and Elise and Eze, they're always going to create problems for you when you give them space and time on the ball, and when Crystal Palace can actually get them on the ball as well, which under Vieira was really rare. And now under Hodgson, he's getting them players on the ball. And he's actually getting them on the pitch as well, which is probably why Vieira got sacked. But yeah, Elise, amazing. 3 assists, 6 chances created, 3 big chances, 6 out of 9 dribbles completed, 10 out of 16 ground duels won, 2 tackles, 2 interceptions, all round performance. He got stuck in, he created chances. If only he scored that goal at the end after dribbling past, that would be one of probably the perfect performance, but it's still probably one of the best Premier League performances of the season by any player. But yeah, really good now. 7 goals under Hodgson in 2 games. Weird. But yeah, as many as in their previous 13 games under Vieira. 6 points by the relegation zone down. That probably should see them through, especially with some of the form of the other teams. That should see them through, but they're still to play Southampton, Everton, Wolves, West Ham, Bournemouth, and Nottingham Forest. So they've still got all the big games against all the relegation candidates. But yeah, Leeds, just a weird performance. They came out, they could have been 2-3, 4-0 up. Some really good saves by Johnston. But yeah, they came out the second half and so much space, so much time for Crystal Palace. They can get forward. Really weird performance. They conceded 2.5 XG plus in 4 games under Gracia. Happened once under Martial versus Manchester City. So they conceded a lot of chances. And that's never really represented. And they got punished for this one. They didn't get punished for other ones as much, but they're getting punished for this one. And maybe a bit of a warning sign for them that they can't be conceding this many chances. Really poor performance, really weird performance. And now with a win over Crystal Palace, I would put them up to 12. I think 5 points by the relegation zone, but now they're just 2. Goal difference took a hit. Improved Crystal Palace's goal difference as well. Bad day for Leeds. And now to one of the best games you'll see in the season. Liverpool 2, Arsenal 2. Great start by Arsenal. I think like what they did to Man United is they just exposed the weakness. They exposed McTominay, Wan-Bissaka playing out the back, exposed Wan-Bissaka at the back post, exposed Christian Eriksen's defensive weakness. Did the exact same at the start of this game against Liverpool. Exposed Liverpool centre backs and midfield been too far apart, been just really weirdly far apart every single game. Exposed Trent Alexander, one of the people on defending and positioning, and that led to both goals. The first goal, Van Dijk and Canate being so far apart, Van Dijk just hitting it into Martinelli and he's scoring. And the second goal, Martinelli against Trent gets past him and floats the ball into Jesus, and Van Dijk is nowhere near the ball because Canate is in a different position and they're 2-0 up and is just cruising. And you just got to see these games out. This is probably where the inexperience and the title race came into it. They kind of just let Liverpool back into the game just before half time. And as one of the worst things, it kind of started with that Shaka challenge. It got the crowd going, but also got the players right up because it was just really flat by Liverpool before that. They were really flat. They still created a couple of chances, which was a bit surprising. Arsenal let them have a few chances before that, and just getting Trent Alexander-Arnold angry, getting other players angry, getting riled up. It's just the worst thing you can do, especially just before half time. And then, Liverpool get back into the game through Salah. Really good work by Curtis Jones and Gakpo and Jota on that side. And good anticipation by Salah on the back post as well. And coming out in the second half, Arsenal, they came out to counter. Surprising decision. You think at least try and do something a bit more, but Liverpool controlled the game. I don't know how much was it of Arsenal's game plan to counter, because Liverpool looked really good in that second half, created many chances, got the penalty obviously, Salah missed again. But yeah, really good performance by Liverpool in the second half. Terrible by Arsenal in the second half. Terrible. Very, very strange by Arteta as well, bringing on Kivior as well. You bring on that guy unexperienced. He saw 5 seconds into coming in, goes straight through Roberto Firmino, and Nunes go through one-on-one and could have easily scored. And you probably either bring on Tierney in that left centre back role or just don't change it. Really strange substitutions there, and Arsenal were actually quite wasteful counter because Liverpool were open many times. Canate saved them many times. They looked a bit slow on the counter. That actually at times looked maybe this title race catching up to them, but they looked kind of slow on the counter. Had many opportunities. Saka and Martinelli many times. They just down that right hand side Liverpool they got through, but never made anything in it. But Pressure kept coming by Liverpool. Ramsdale, amazing saves. Saved them so many times. Man of the match, title winning performance from him, kind of. Canate at the back post. The, the deflection by Salah, the shot by Salah, save from Nunes. Amazing performance by Ramsdale. Rescued Liverpool. Liverpool created so much more chances than they did against the Man United when they won 7-0. So kind of lucky by Arsenal, but Ramsdale amazing. But yeah, must win games now versus West Ham and Southampton before Arsenal go to City away. Can't drop any more points before that, otherwise pressure is on. And the pressure is on, but that pressure will be on if they drop points either versus West Ham or Southampton. Liverpool, 12 points off top four now, but 7 of the last 9 games are against teams below them, so winnable games for the rest of the season. Villa and Spurs also in them, the two teams that are not above them, so the winnable games again. But yeah, I think Thiago and Firmino have to be must starts probably for them now, where they changed the game completely. Thiago just a bit more composure in midfield, something Arsenal can deal with. Firmino again, a bit more composure, a bit more technical ability, found spaces, and really exposed Arsenal in that midfield as well. Really overloaded it, and yeah, Arsenal couldn't deal with them. But good performance by Liverpool again. Next week, you don't know what you're going to get from them. Was it just the crowd? The one performance gets them up, and next week they will lose 1-0 and be flat. But yeah, that's Liverpool we've seen this season. But yeah, that's the end of the episode. Great week, great games of action, really good, exciting games. But yeah, it's all coming down to it now, isn't it? Only a few games left, 8 games for some teams, 9, 10 games for some teams. But yeah, see you next time. Like and subscribe.